achieved.
What's up, fellas? Welcome into Studio de Jefre de Quarantine de the Anteater King's Lair. We got a brand new mock draft from Pro Football Focus today. And remember, if you're tired of mock drafts, if you have just had enough, leave in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow, and I will address it. Just need your questions, and then we'll rock and roll. You make this thing go, and I love all of you. Pro Football Focus mock draft. We got a surprise pick for the Cowboys here, at least according to me. But let's take a look. I like this. They followed my mock draft rules. My mock draft rules are it can't look the same as everybody else's because we're all kind of guessing. Sure, there's a lot of things that make a lot of sense. There's some picks that make a lot of sense. But I want to see some different names. I want to see you huevos más grande. Get some big ones and throw some picks out there. So Pro Football Focus is willing to do that because they'll use their grades on how they want to do this thing. So at number 1 overall in the Pro Football Focus mock draft, the Roomba might be about to try to break in here. I closed the door, but I didn't close it all the way. We'll see. Joe Burrow goes to the Bengals at number 1 overall. Now, at number 2 overall, we get our first fireworks, and this is fun. The Miami Dolphins move up to number 2 with the Washington Redskins and take Tua Tagovailoa. God, he's so good. Tua's so good. So scary. I'm glad I worked with Gavin Dawson because if I were running a football team and we had a chance to take Tua, I'd be like, guys, he's incredible. We're picking him. And Gavin would be like, yeah, he's also hurt all the time. I'd be like, shut up! But it is important to consider that he is hurt all the time. So at number 2, it's Miami coming up to take Tua. At number 3, Jeff Okudah, Ohio State. One of the things about Pro Football Focus is they are on team coverage over team pass rush. So they value corner more than the NFL does right now. And I think they're right. I don't know if they're right by, like if they did a mock, their corners might be elevated a little more than I would, but I do believe they're right in the value of especially guys who can play man coverage, because if you can eliminate receivers with one guy, you're winning on defense. So at number 4, the New York Giants get lucky. So Cowboy fans, this would be terrible. The New York Giants get Chase Young. He makes it to number 4 overall, best pass rusher in the draft. This dude had 56 pressures last year. 18 sacks. Stupid. Number 5, it's now Washington at number 5, and they love Andrew Thomas, I guess, at Pro Football Focus, the offensive tackle out of Georgia. How to sort those guys out, I think, is really tough. Between Tristan Wirfs, Andrew Thomas, Jedrick Wills at Alabama, and Mekhi Becton, all 4, I think, are really good players. At number 6, the Chargers take quarterback Justin Herbert out of Oregon, which, again, that one makes sense, so why not? Number 7, Carolina gets lucky in that, to me, if you were just making a board of how good is this guy at playing football, Isaiah Simmons would probably be second on my board. I think it would be Chase Young, Isaiah Simmons, Jeff Okudah, 1, 2, 3. So Simmons at number 7 steps right in after Luke Kuechly retires, and you have got a dude that has the skill to do everything. Number 8, the Arizona Cardinals. Remember, they traded for DeAndre Hopkins, so this frees them up to focus on their offensive line. So the Cardinals take offensive tackle Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa. And that's a good idea, and that's what's going to happen. They're going to take an offensive tackle, I would imagine, to protect Kyler Murray. Now that you got DeAndre Hopkins out there with Christian Kirk and Larry Fitzgerald, you can kill the wide receiver dream. Although if I'm Kyler, I'm still in there campaigning. I don't care how many people rush me. I'll get away. Give me CeeDee Lamb. At number 9 overall, the Jacksonville Jaguars on Pro Football Focus's mock draft are going to take Jerry Jeudy. They need a lot of help at receiver. You put Jeudy in the slot, and you can really party. DJ Chark kind of made some noise for them last year. So you could have Chark with his speed, and you could have Jerry Jeudy with his route running, and that's a fun combination for the guy who has this kind of mustache, Gardner Minshew. Number 10, here is a surprise for you guys. Offensive tackle Josh Jones out of Houston. They say you never want to draft for need, but the Browns are well positioned to fill their biggest need in this draft. They don't take Jedrick Wills at Bama, who played right tackle in college. They don't take Mekhi Becton. They take Josh Jones. And at number 11, the New York Jets, they take Jedrick Wills, the Alabama offensive tackle, and they don't have a right tackle in New York right now, so Jedrick Wills could slide right in and play the same position that he played in college. At number 12, I hate it. There goes CeeDee Lamb, ladies and gentlemen. He goes to the Raiders. And I think he would be good for Derek Carr or Marcus Mariota or whoever. Maybe they're going to trade up. Maybe the Raiders are going to trade up and find a new quarterback, but then they wouldn't get CeeDee Lamb. But CeeDee Lamb is a monster. I mean, whether you want to go vertical, whether you're throwing back shoulder, whether you're going slants and underneath stuff, his after catch is awesome. CeeDee Lamb is a beast. San Francisco 49ers, who have the 13th pick now after the DeForest Buckner trade, Pro Football Focus goes with Henry Ruggs. And I do think San Francisco needs a lot of help at wide receiver because they don't have much outside of Deebo Samuel. Emmanuel Sanders is gone. Dante Pettis has never really made it. Marquise Goodwin. So Henry Ruggs, I think, and that's a perfect fit with Deebo. Deebo can do gadget stuff, but Deebo is not a burner. He's a possession, but he's more like possession receiver is an insult, right? He's not a possession receiver. He's tough as hell to tackle after he has the ball. And you had Henry Ruggs, who's tough as hell to tackle when he has the ball for the exact opposite reason. He's just so fast and evasive. Henry Ruggs getting added to the 49er team. Ooh, I like it. At 14, Tampa Bay. Here comes another surprise. A guy who's been starting to fall out of first rounds for a lot of people, and I still think he'll go in the first, and I think he should go in the first. Grant Delpit, LSU safety to Tampa Bay. They say Delpit's been a playmaker. He adds yet another piece to a Tampa secondary that's gone from disastrous to promising in 2 years. Missed tackles are definitely a concern, but he can play free safety and he can cover tight ends. So Grant Delpit, good player. At 15, another surprise. How about Christian Fulton, LSU corner, being the second corner off the board? Denver's got A.J. Boye on one side, and then the rest is Bryce Callahan goes to the slot. Christian Fulton becomes your other outside corner. And I'm a big Fulton fan. Like, I'm not going to let that go. I think people have kind of soured on him I'm not sure the reason. Maybe because he's not, like C.J. Henderson seems like a twitchier, little better athlete. But Christian Fulton, when you try to throw the ball at him, here you go. Forced incompletions on 27.4% of his targets over the past 2 years, best in the entire country. Christian Fulton, he's good. 16, the Atlanta Falcons, of course, are going to take C.J. Henderson from Florida. They're going to snatch him up. And that leaves at 17 the Cowboys on the clock. Now, the interesting thing is in the Pro Football Focus draft, they don't value guys that play nose tackle all that much, and maybe defensive tackles in general, because you could pick Derek Brown. Derek Brown is on the board on the Pro Football Focus mock draft. Your top three receivers are gone. Your top three corners are gone. Derek Brown is available, and Javon Kinlaw is available. So if it's me making this pick, there is no doubt about the pick. I'm taking Derek Brown. What they do is they take A.J. Epinesa, the Iowa defensive end. I can't get with you there. I got scared off. He's got 2 years of outstanding production as a pass rusher. I don't trust that athletic profile as I guess this isn't technically top half of the first round. I would like to have A.J. Epinesa on my football team. I think he's going to be a good player, and I hope I'm not going to Bosa myself with this one, where at least with Joey Bosa, I did say, he's a top 10 player. I just don't think he's a top 5 player. With Epinesa, I think I'd be comfortable picking him in the 20s or 30s. The tape is so good. The production is so good, but he just doesn't really have the athleticism to win outside as a rusher. So I think what I would do with him is I'd play him at defensive end, and then when you get to passing situations, I'd probably move Epinesa inside because I don't think he threatens the edge. So for the Cowboys, you would have DeMarcus Lawrence on an end, Randy Gregory on an end, and then I would put, with what you got, you might leave McCoy on the field and Epinesa, and then keep Tyrone Crawford off. Yeah, I think that'd be it. Randy Gregory, Tank Lawrence, A.J. Epinesa, and Gerald McCoy are coming for your quarterback when it's third down. I like him. I like him on the team. At 17, especially if Derek Brown were really available at 17, you take Derek Brown, the Auburn D tackle. He's such a monster. I would take Kinlaw over Epinesa. But moving on, at 18, they give you Laviska Shenault out of Colorado, the wide receiver. And the best thing that he's got is his after-catch ability. He's a local guy, too, DFW product. But his 40th combine hurt him, 4.59. But he averages over 7 catches, or over 7 yards after the catch on his 150 career grabs. That stat from Pro Football Focus. So Laviska Shenault at 18. Xavier McKinney, potential Cowboys target at 19 to the Raiders. So you take that there. Hold on. What am I doing here? Clicking around, losing things. At 20, Trevon Diggs, the Alabama corner, goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars, 6'2". Incredible man coverage ability. He's good, and he's got upside to be really, really, really good. 21, Philadelphia goes T. Higgins. T. Higgins' pro day worries me a little bit. I moved him down a little bit, which maybe I shouldn't. Maybe you should just trust the tape. I had him as my 4th or 5th wide receiver, and now I've got him as like my 7th wide receiver. But nice red zone weapon for sure. That dude can go up and get it. Pedestrian numbers at the pro day. I've been worried off on the big wide receivers that aren't super athletic. But T. Higgins is a good player for sure. Jalen Reagor to the Vikings at number 22. Love Jalen Reagor. Replacing Stephon Diggs. Big play threat. Love it, love it, love it, love it. At 23, the New England Patriots, who I know people pretend they can do no wrong. They're a terrible drafting team, and they're a terrible drafting team when it comes to wide receiver. They make up for it by always having more picks because they win the comp pick game and they know how to trade. And so they end up being a good drafting team. They take Denzel Mims out of Baylor, who had an incredible Senior Bowl, great NFL combine. He's got good tape. And they've got to make up for the fact that N'Keal Harry, the guy they picked last year, couldn't separate in college, and now he can't separate in the NFL, and he's been banged up. So, surprise, New England's got to go 2 years in a row on wide receiver. And Derek Brown finally goes to the Saints at 24, which would be totally unfair that a team that good gets to add Derek Brown, although maybe they deserved it because they probably should have been in the last 2 Super Bowls. Vikings at 25, Jalen Johnson, the Utah corner. Who was I following on Twitter? I think it was Eric Crocker. Am I saying that name right? Crockett? Crap. He played in the NFL, and he was struggling evaluating a couple of corners. And Jalen Johnson's one of those ones that I really struggled watching him. I don't feel like I trust him in man coverage. I trust him if you're a cover 3 team, which I guess the Cowboys, at least last year, were, where it's man and it's cover 3. Put him in press man, put him in cover 3, but that off-man coverage, I think good route runners kind of, I'm just not comfortable with Jalen Johnson. Ashton Davis, safety out of Cal, to the Dolphins at number 26, where he can go play center field for them. Javon Kinlaw to Seattle at 27. God, they'd love that. 28, they throw out a name that has not been in a lot of first-round mocks, and I would not be stunned if he goes in the first round. Julian Okwara, Notre Dame. He is one of those guys that has the potential to turn into, I don't want to put a name to it, but the name that I always use in situations like this is Daniil Hunter. One of those guys that coming out of LSU, he was that big, rangy, not thick, not a run stopper, but you had that, you have size and length and athleticism, and you're like, man, that could turn into a really good NFL pass rusher. And I think Julian Okwara is a candidate to do that out of Notre Dame. 28 to the Ravens. Jeff Gladney, TCU corner at 29 to the Tennessee Titans. Justin Jefferson, LSU wide receiver, to the Green Bay Packers. Played a lot of slot at LSU. I would just leave him there. 31, 49ers take Jordan Elliott, defensive tackle out of Missouri, who a lot of people are mocking to go in the 3rd and 4th rounds, but ain't happening. I think he'll go in the top 50 or 60 for sure. And linebacker Patrick Queen to the Kansas City Chiefs at 32. So that is the Pro Football Focus mock. They took A.J. Epinesa. I would take Derek Brown in that spot with the way that one played out. Is there anybody else you would consider if Derek Brown is really on the board? And are we sure that he's going top 5 or top 7? Are we sure that a nose tackle, a one technique is going to go that high? I don't know. But the draft gods would be smiling on you if he made it to 17. That would be incredible. So there you go. It's just another look at it. Shout out to Pro Football Focus and Steve. That's Steve's draft there. And leave in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow. I'll get at you. And don't forget that after the show, sometimes I play Call of Duty, which you can watch on here. I'm not very good. You know what? I'm going to stop that. I'm okay. I'm solid. My guy Prospect carries me to wins, but I'm solid. I'm a solid teammate. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.